welcome to Lathe and Loom podcast. My name is Cher, and this is episode 25. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're a new viewer, I appreciate you taking time to explore my channel. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for spreading the word, for coming back, for being a great community of knitters and crocheters and crafters. I love so much and appreciate the interaction I have with each and every one of you. I have a couple of items today. I'm going to talk a little bit about some natural dyeing plans, and I'm going to talk to you about two works in progress. One which is my very first test knit, so I'm super excited about that. And that'd be, so I don't think it'll be, and one more acquisition from the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, which is a support spindle, so I'll share that with you. So the first WIP I want to talk about is, in fact, the test knit that I'm doing. I am test knitting the Vine Tea by Athena Liu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'll put it here to make sure, and as well as her Instagram. So I was scrolling through, I've been wanting to do a test knit for quite some time, and it's really, you apply and you don't get picked. But I get that, right? I'm not like a huge podcaster, famous or anything. But I was scanning through Instagram, and Susan of Wild Irish Knitting, I hope I'm getting that right, Susan, who is a lovely podcaster. I'll put her channel link below. I encourage you to check her out if you don't already follow her. And it had posted that this test knit had just come up, and she had done another test knit for the same designer. So I popped right over to the channel and looked it up, and it was so cute. And it's a summer sweater. I will pop a picture here of her finished garment, and I thought, oh, that would just be great. Well, I got accepted, which was awesome. I happened to have in my stash some Knit Picks Cotton yarn. I had 10 50-gram skeins. That's focusing. I should put my glasses on. This is the colorway Blackberry, which she accepted for the test knit, and my size was available, and I started knitting right away. So the pattern is really lovely. It's well written. Here is where I am so far. And you'll see it probably better on the example that I showed you, but it has this really lovely vine motif, and I don't know if that's going to come across in this lighting or not. I hope it is. I'll put some photos though as well. And it has this lovely vine motif down the raglan, and then it'll be down, it very cleverly joins from the raglan and into the side panel, which I'm doing a terrible job of demonstrating. Anyway, I'll take my word for it. I'll put some photos down the side panel. So it comes in for the raglan and goes down the side, and it's got I'm doing the split hem option. It has both. It has a really nice folded hem on the sleeve. So I stopped and I got to a point in the body, and then I stopped and did the sleeves. It's fitting really nicely. What I do love about the sleeve is my upper arms are not my favorite part of my anatomy. It's a very generous sleeve. I love this folded hem. I've never done one before. I think it's just so polished and neat looking, and just a nice view. I'm actually showing you the back. There's the front. So I wanted to block it before I finished the body, so I could kind of recheck my gauge and make sure I'm going to get the right length. I did, don't be shocked, I did a swatch. I did a huge swatch. I did a whole 50-gram ball swatch in the round and took time to block it and everything. So I did not get gauged with the recommended needles, which is a US 6, which I believe is the 4mm. I went down one size to a US 5, 3.75. Interestingly, my stitch gauge with the 6 was fine. My row gauge was off. My stitch gauge with the 5 didn't change, but my row gauge was much closer to the pattern, so that is why I went down to the 5. I did knit the sleeve on a 6 because I did not and I knit a little bit tighter in the round. So again, I will make sure to put all the information. I do have a test project page that I assume will be released once the pattern is released. And I'll put all that. I've been trying to keep really good notes of what I've done and pictures along the way. So hopefully that'll be a really good reference. It is a pretty easy lace pattern. It's kind of a lace and a little single cable. I really hope this is showing up. It's really lovely, and it's, I mean, you do have to look at the chart, and actually as you go down, you're actually having to look at 4 charts as you go, but don't let that like throw you off, because it's really not as hard as it seems. I'm doing mine on Knit Companion, so I was able to put the charts in the same order, and I just go pop from one to the other because it's a really short little section. And some people are printing out the pattern and doing it that way. Some people maybe just by miracle keep that in their head. I could not. But it's not difficult, and it is a really lovely pattern that I'm quite... all of the test knitters have talked about how enjoyable it is to knit. So I look forward to that being released. So we had to have the test knit done by June 14th. So I have to speed through. I've got a business trip, so I got to speed through the last section this week. Hopefully I'll be able to get that done. It took a lot longer to block than wool does. So Cotton is a cotton linen blend. I think it's 70% cotton, 30% linen. I'm really, really liking the yarn. I'm very interested to see how it wears. It is a little linty, fuzzy. Like I get purple. It did bleed some with this dark color. But I love the feel of it. I'm definitely going to use it again on some other summer knits. I think my next episode will be all the summer knits, and you may remember I did that last year and didn't knit any, but I'm kind of obsessed with summer knits this year, and having found this yarn, I also want to do some stuff in Knitting for Olive, pure silk. I want to do some other linens, and seems like there's just so many summer patterns out there that are catching my eye. So I don't know how I'll ever decide, but anyway, we'll talk about that on the next episode. So anyway, so that is the Vine Tee by Athena Lou, and please keep an eye out. I will also publish on my Instagram and maybe on the YouTube once the pattern's released, and I hope you will check her out. She also has a YouTube channel, the Seedling Stitch, and I'll put that information below. It's delightful. She is she's living in Canada. She's originally from China. She is really wonderful about sharing. So she has a second YouTube channel, or I don't think it's YouTube, it's a different platform in China, and she's a very, very popular podcaster there. But she has really shares in her channel a lot about the Eastern knitting, so a lot of Chinese patterns. She's got some special things on Japanese patterns. She's got some older patterns. Anyway, it's just really, some of the yarns she uses are from China. So it's a different perspective and really, really interesting. And as many of us do, I think it's just so interesting to hear what others like and do, and other styles. And I think some of the stitch patterns on the Japanese and some of the Chinese patterns are beautiful. But anyway, she's got several designs, and I hope you will take a look at both her channel and her Ravelry, and support her as she grows her design business. So that is the Vine Tee. My other work in progress, and I mean I have of course several, but I'm trying to kind of prioritize one, try to finish two before I cast on another one. And so I had the Stephen West Twists and Turns shawl that I started with the knit along. And I'm way behind. Pardon me, you're going to get a bit of crinkling here. Should have done that before I got started. Anyway, so there's a purpose for that. So anyway, so I've been knitting the twists and turns, and that's pretty documented on my Instagram. So I am using Ruby and Roses yarn, and I think the paler pink is Party Dress. The brilliant blue is Twilight, and of course I'm not remembering the third one. I will, and it's on all of my pages as well. Log Cabin Getaway. So this is Log Cabin Getaway. And this one is Party Dress. And this one is Twilight. So when I picked these, get that focused. When I picked these, Twilight was only available as a single, as was Party Dress. And I thought that would be fine. And it has been to a point. I don't probably need to draw out the saga of this knit. If you followed anyone at all in the last year, you followed several of us struggling through this knit. This was the longest, most tedious section ever, but it's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, as all Stephen West stuff does. I wasn't even gonna do the knit along, and of course I was like, oh, okay, no, I will, and then I went ahead and ordered yarn for it and prepared to do it. And it's got this lovely nice garter section here. It's got this beautiful cable. So I'm now to the point in the pattern, which is no longer a mystery, where I should be taking the Twilight, the brilliant blue color, and doing these long cabled, single cable kind of strip. And then you fill it in with another piece here. And so it's a five, I think it's like five stitches. Anyway, it's one, you're only cabling one stitch. And so there's no way that I'm going to do that with a cable needle. I mean, that would just be beyond tedious. The problem is that I am not able to easily cable even that one stitch without a cable needle because of the singles yarn. So I put it into timeout. And I thought, I looked at other people's. I know that some people changed the bottom, the last couple steps. So I thought, do I just do a garter strip? Do I not use that? But it really does need, I mean, that's part of the twist and turn design, right? So I didn't really want to not do it, but I thought, I don't want to introduce a fourth color of yarn, and I don't know. So it's been a timeout, and I didn't know what to do. So when we were knitting, I think the evening before the Maryland sheep and wool, I was explaining this dilemma to my daughter, and she looks at me, she says, well, couldn't you just order the blue yarn in the other base? Huh. Well, yes, I could. Why I did not think of it, I do not know. So anyway, out to the Ruby and Roses website I went, and I ordered a plump rose base of Twilight, and hopefully I can get started back on the track with my twist and turn shawl. So I'm embarrassed that the solution was that simple, but I'm delighted that my daughter helped me figure it out. So that will be one of my next one of the next works in progress that I will be working on as soon as I finish the test knit and the habitation throw that I have that I want to do for a baby gift there. So those are my two priority works in progress for this episode. So wanted to share another acquisition that I made at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, and that is this lovely little support spindle. So see if I can do this on camera. Maybe focusing on my face. this just spins and spins and spins. So this is I think they call it a tucky style. It's very fast. Has this beautiful lotus. I don't know if you can see that or not. Lotus, this is glass, and lotus also in the disc on the spindle itself. This was purchased. It's called the Lotus Design. It is 1.25 inches, weighs 7 grams. And the spin on it actually says 45 seconds. I think it goes longer than that. That's probably did not focus at all, did it? There we go. And it was, I purchased it from Hip Strings. They do have a website. I think that's right here. I'll put it below as well. So I was wandering around in the booth and caught my eye because I've been trying to do a little bit of support spindling. And the owner came over and said, "Oh, have you tried it?" and showed me how it spun, and I was just amazed. Of course, I know that style of spindle with that speed is really designed more for like cotton or silk, more so than wool, and I'm not a proficient support spinner even with wool, so I've really hesitated to try anything else. But he actually just he spent quite a bit of time with me, and we talked about it, and he's like, just kind of jump in. So I also purchased a couple of bits of Egyptian cotton that I'm going to try to put in my list of many, many, many projects. So I got those two. So this one is colored with saffron, and this one is just rust. Now I don't know that it's colored with saffron. The color is saffron. So that will be lovely to try, I think. Something a little bit different and kind of nice for the summer. I'm just curious to see how something that short stapled is in comparison to wool. So, as you know, I'm trying to do a breed study spinning, which I have failed miserably at doing one a month, but eventually I'll get them done and you'll see them as I go forward. So I did finish the Shropshire, but I have not finished I think the next one in the basket is a Falklands, and I've not really even started that. So that will be quite a bit of fun, I think, to explore with. The other thing I wanted to show, actually this was not the first item I purchased at the North Carolina Fiber Fest, and then the other I purchased on Etsy, I believe. And so and it really is, I want to do a little more exploring with natural dyeing. So I have some previous episodes where I've used avocado and marigold, and then I've done some dyeing with Kool-Aid, but that's kind of the extent. And I really wanted to kind of grow my own indigo and some madder and, try that. Well, it turns out that actually is, it's not simple, which I knew, but madder actually I think takes 3 years before you can even harvest it. Since we just got the garden in, that's not going to happen. So I have purchased some things. But anyway, so I started with, in North Carolina Fiber Festival, so Yarn Over Floyd. She has an Instagram, and she was lovely. I've seen her a couple of years at that Fiber Festival, and she does all natural dyeing. And so she put together these kits, which you can buy, I believe, online, and she sells her, I'm trying to think where she sells her. She does have one shop near where she is that she sells in a shop, which I think you'll see if you follow her on Instagram, and I'll put that information below. So, but she had this natural dye kit. So here it comes like this, and she has 3 or 4 of them. And this one is cochineal. So I do have some, I don't have a cochineal sample, but I think you get shades of pinks and reds, it's this one here. And the kit has the pre-mordanted yarn, which is really nice. Not if it's something you're just dabbling in, not to have to do the mordanting. I think I had to mordant for the marigold. I boarded in it for something else. Anyway, so it's just kind of an extra step, and you have to have some other ingredients. It's not hard, but anyway, so it has that and all the instructions on how to do this dyeing with the cochineal. So cochineal is actually, should have microscoped it. It's actually little bugs. I don't know. Let's see if I can get a good focus on that. So they come in this little thing. So I'm not exactly sure what I do to process the little bugs, but anyway, there will be an episode on natural dyeing with the cochineal, because I think that will be really fun. Maybe vlog style. Have any of you used cochineal in some dyeing? I would love to hear about it. If you have your successes or lessons learned, as the case may be, would be really really interesting for me to hear. So that will be one element of the natural dyeing that I will be trying. So in addition to trying the cochineal, I did want to find a way to try some dyeing experiments with madder and indigo and a couple of other natural dyes. The dyer behind Yarn Over Floyd, I think 2 years ago, no, 2020 was the Fiber Festival before, like, literally the world shut down. Had shared with me a really great dyeing resource. If I think about it, I'll pop a picture in here because I'm not remembering the name. But so I have that, and then Wild Color is the other book that I've got. And so I've kind of been reading up a little there, and I wanted to try some other things along with that. And obviously my garden is not going to grow with either in time for me to try it this year. So I did find an online resource. This is an Etsy store as well. And it is the Yarn Tree. And that is, there we go. Hopefully focusing. I will put it below as well. This shop is located in Roanoke, Virginia, so my regional-ish area, which I love. And I purchased actually some dye extracts. They're powder. I think it's. I mean, I'm obviously not starting with the raw madder or extract powder. So I bought indigo powder, which is I'm gonna butcher that, Indigofera tinctoria. Madder extract, which is Rubia tinctorum, and lac, L-A-C, lac, I think it's lac, powdered extract. I believe lac, like cochineal, is an insect, but I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, so they came really quickly. They're in these 3 bags, which I won't rustle to. I'll again, like the cochineal, I will do a vlog style as I experiment with these. But I think that's just going to be really, really fun. I have some bare yarn, and I have some big cones I got from Sestari that would be dyeable to do. I also picked up, not so much for dyeing, but for my that small spindle, I picked up a little bit of raw Tessa silk from this shop as well to try. So yeah, the Yarn Tree USA. So fibers for spinning and felting, natural dyes gathered from around the world, and handmade products. So it's a really nice shop, and I would encourage you to check that out too. So I think more to come on that, and I would love to hear again if you have done some natural dyeing, solar or otherwise. I know I've watched Nikki from Knitting with Cat Hair podcast. She's done couple of years of solar dyeing. Her most recent episode, she talks about her current experiment there. So I think it might be interesting to try a little bit of this. There's quite a lot. I think 1 ounce will do quite a lot of fiber So I might try a little bit, see if some of it can be done solar, and then there's, you know, a hot method and a cold method. So I think that might be interesting to see what kind of results you get. So kind of more to come on that. So super short episode this time. I would love to hear in the comments below what you're working on, what you'd like to be working on, and hopefully, you know, certainly reach out both here and on Instagram. I love chatting with each and every one of you, and I thank you so much for your time and for stopping by and to join me for a bit. So without further ado, happy knitting, spinning, dyeing, and weaving. Bye.